What's going on, guys? We're back for another video on the channel. Today we are going to be ranking the Newcastle United players. So, let me tell you all the ranks we've got. Actually, you can see on the screen, but I'll mention them anyway. So I've got Championship player, awful, poor, decent, good, and world class. With Championship player being the worst and world class being the best. Right, let's start this off, shall we? We'll start off with Andy Carroll. Now, I know he hasn't scored a goal this season yet, but I don't really know what to put him. I'm going to put Andy Carroll in... I'm going to put him in decent. Next up, we've got Alain Saint-Maximin. Now, do I even have to mention him? World class. Alain Saint-Maximin, world class. Next up is Christian Atsu. Now, he hasn't really scored a goal yet, but I mean, he did score in the Championship. I'm not going to put him as a Championship player. I'm going to put Christian Atsu in awful. Next up, we have Kieran Clark. Right. I know he's got an injury, but he did score 2 goals this season. He is a really good defender. I want to put Kieran Clark in good. Next up is Dwight Gale. Now, Dwight Gale hasn't even scored a goal this season yet. So, I'm going to put Dwight Gale in Championship player. Just because he did score a couple of goals in the Championship. Next up is DeAndre Yedlin. Now, I know he scored a bullet header against Bournemouth, so that's the only goal he scored really in the season. I'm going to put DeAndre Yedlin in decent. Next up is Emil Kraft. Now, to be honest, I didn't really think we needed Emil Kraft. He hasn't scored a goal, so I'm going to put Emil Kraft in poor. I didn't really think we needed him. Next up is Federico Fernandez. Now, I am so glad that he signed his 1-year contract extension, because he has literally been fantastic this season. So, I'm going to put Federico Fernandez in good. Next up is Florian Lejeune. Now, he did score 2 goals against Everton away. So, that's the only 2 goals he scored really this season. So, I don't really know what to put him, sorry. So, I'm going to put Florian Lejeune in decent. Next up is Fabian Shaw. Now, again, do I even have to mention him? World class. He has been fantastic, like literally fantastic. Next up is Isaac Hayden. Well, he did score 94th minute winner against Chelsea. So I don't really know what to put him. I'm going to put Isaac Hayden, and I said Florian Lejeune again there. I'm going to put Isaac Hayden in decent. Next up is Joelinton. Now, I know what you're thinking. Championship player, 1 goal in the Premier League. I'm gonna change that up a bit and put him in awful. Yep. I know I would have put him in Championship player, but yeah. Next up is Jamal Lascelles. Now, He has been quite decent this season. He scored against Wolves at home. So I'm going to put Jamal Lascelles in good. Next up is Javier Manquillo. Now, he hasn't been really good this season. I know he got an assist at Sheffield United, or Alan Saint-Maximin got his first goal for the club. So I'm gonna put Javier Manquillo in decent. Next up is John Joe Shelvey. Now, bear in mind, he does score a lot of screamers. So I'm going to put John Joe Shelvey in world class. Now, next up is Jethro Willems. Now, do I even have to mention him? World class. Right. Next up is Carl Darlow. He has played in the cup games, which Bruce wants to make Martin Dubravka rest for the cup games. We'll come on to Martin Dubravka in a sec. But I'm going to put Carl Darlow in decent. Next up is Ki Sung Young. Now, obviously, we sold Ki Sung Young to Real Mallorca, which, but he didn't score many goals for the season he was at Newcastle, so I'm going to put Ki Sung Young in poor. Next up is Miguel Almiron. Again, just like Jethro, do I even have to mention him? World class. Right, next up is Martin Dubravka. Again, like Miggy, do I even have to mention him? World class. He has saved us many times, literally many times. Next up is Matty Longstaff. Now, obviously, he did score a screamer against Man United at home, and he scored a goal against Man United away, so that's 2 goals against Manchester United. And he scored against Rochdale in the FA Cup. I'm going to put Matty Longstaff in... decent. Next up is Matt Ritchie. Now, obviously, he hasn't scored a goal this season yet, but he did score a penalty against Man City last season when we won 2-1. I'm going to put Matt Ritchie in decent. Next up is Paul Dummett. Now, Paul Dummett, he hasn't really had a good season. He hasn't had a bad season, but I'm going to put Paul Dummett in decent. Next up is Rob Elliott. Now, he hasn't really played that much this season. He did play a couple of games in the Championship, so I'm going to put Rob Elliott in the Championship player tier rank. Just because I think he's more likely to go to a Championship club, say for example Swansea City or something, Next up is Sean Longstaff. Now, he did score in the FA Cup against Oxford in the replay. I don't really know what to put. I'm going to put Sean Longstaff in good. Next up is Yoshinori Muto. He scored against Leicester in the Carabao Cup when we got knocked out by them. Ended a 1-1 draw. We got beat on pens. I'm going to put Yoshinori Muto in good. And that is going to be the end of our ranking Newcastle players video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Make sure you like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys later.